Hello. Welcome to Homecoming Day 2. I am here recording by myself again. Um, I had one person join live, and I am so grateful for her and all of you who are watching. I know we all live in different places, and it's not easy to make it live to things when you're sleeping or working. So the person who made it live was baking bread. So I said, do you, would you be willing to participate in today's session, or do you want me to just send you the recording later? And she said she was busy and she was just planning on listening. So we said that I will record by myself. And so here I am talking to myself, but imagining you are in front of me, the beautiful people that are joining me. I'm feeling you in spirit and in my heart, sending you a lot of love. Yesterday, homecoming day 1, I shared my story on how I came home to my body and how I discovered menstrual cycle awareness. It was discovering, understanding my menstrual cycle that led me to coming back to myself and understanding myself so much more and having so much more compassion with myself. So if you have not watched day 1 yet, I encourage you to, as it's free and it's available. And I will send you today's link as well as yesterday's link, just so you have it. And feel free to send these to your friends. I think, or whoever you think needs to watch this, because I wish I had this information sooner, before, you know? So today we're going to be talking about our body and sacredness. Sacredness as the body. The body is sacred. What does that mean? I've heard of the saying, or maybe you've heard of as well, your body as your temple, temple as your body as your temple. And anyway, I think that has to do with people who take care of what they eat and exercise well. And today we're talking about the body as being something sacred. And I actually didn't look up the definition of sacredness, but maybe you can think of what are the things that are sacred in your life, in your definition. What are some things that you feel are sacred for you? When I think of something that's sacred, suddenly my my chest feels like it's lighting up. There's a sensation of openness here. And I guess it's my dear family, my friends that nurture me so much, my partner, my love. So so many sacred relationships. And I guess food that was cooked by my mother, or friends and with love, and so many good ingredients from the land. And it was only recently, in I don't know, I think only this year, that I really am considering my body as sacred. So I'm going to be sharing a little bit of the journey of how I got here. And then I'm going to be sharing with you some things for you to reflect on and for you to be with in your body and contemplate on some new perspectives, maybe. Okay, so starting again of growing up in China, as I shared yesterday, but the perspective I will bring today is growing up in China is growing up in a country that is atheist. And China, because of its communist government, it doesn't allow religious groups to be leading their organizations, to be leading their spiritual gatherings. And even though there are still temples there that are from history, that are from the past, government officials are mainly the ones in charge of the temples. It's not the spiritual monks or people that are practicing spirituality that are in the temples. So, growing up in China with parents that do not see themselves believing in organized religion, they both grew up going to the church, but that for their own reasons, they don't think that going to church every Sunday means that you become a better person or you become closer to God. So they were spiritual in their own ways, but they never really shared with us what they did. I knew about praying, and praying for me was very much in my mind of speaking to God, even though I didn't have a picture, an image, or a form of what God was, or the divine, or the holy. But I did feel like there was something special. I did feel like, there is something above or around me that holds me, even though I don't know what it is and I don't know the name of it and I don't know, maybe I would just call it energy. Um, so I think this was a blessing for me to not have had religion be any religion be forced on me from my family. My parents are very open for us to experience anything we wanted. We went to a Baha'i middle school. Baha'i is a religion from Persia, from Iran. It's one of the youngest religions, and um, you don't need to be Baha'i to go there. But my parents were open for us to try any Baha'i gatherings or not. And I guess it was always spirituality was always a question mark for me. It was like something that was over there that I never really participated in, but I had felt before. It was definitely, I had felt something before, and I never knew how to explain it. Hmm. The thought of some moments of, I don't know what I would call them, moments of being, I don't know. I want to say psychic abilities, but I have no. I remember being on the swing outside my house growing up. I was in primary school, and then suddenly my legs like felt this tremendous weight downwards, and there was just like this heaviness that I had no idea where it was coming from. I never felt that on my legs. And then 2 minutes later, my mom comes out and says there was an earthquake in Sichuan. This was in 2008. There was a huge earthquake that happened in the north of China, in the middle of China. And I remember feeling like a little mystery or suspicious, thinking, was that connected? Did my body know that something bad happened? And did my body sense it and was telling me something? This was not part of the thing I was going to tell you, but I think it's this came up and I'm telling you. And then there was another time where, as I shared yesterday, I had a friend that passed away in high school almost 10 years ago now. And the night before I got the phone call about her passing away, I remember lying in bed and breathing very normally, but my heart was like beating super fast. And I remember just noticing my heart beating super fast. And I was like, I was not I was not breathing fast, but I was breathing very calmly. And I just noticed this heartbeat that was irregular, not normal to what I normally experience before going to bed. And then the next morning I woke up and I got a phone call from another friend telling me that Maddie had passed away. So I think that even though I didn't have the concept of being connected to the world and us having the divine within us and really understanding that we are all connected. Um, those things were maybe little moments of awakening, just like, boom, this is possible, boom, this is possible. And I wonder, for you in your life, have you experienced these kind of synchronicities, these kind of mysterious things that align that you don't understand, but you can't help but connect them together because they seem so out of place, but they're so close together in time. So anyway, so my body was there was a sense that my body knew. My body not only could sense, understand I was stressed, but my body knew things that my mind didn't. This was something that grew on me slowly, that didn't come right away, that my body has wisdom, that my body is connected to the land and to people. And I had no idea in my head, um, you know. So fast forward to this year, 2024, February. It was the first day of the Lunar New Year. And long story short, I watched a documentary about this woman or this saint in India. And I was in tears, bawling. My whole face was just like covered in wetness. And there was a pull so strong within me that said I needed to go to India and I needed to go to this ashram that was based around this saint called Amma. And I watched the documentary on the 10th or the 11th of February, and I was in India on the 14th. I had registered my visa, I had booked my ticket, I had informed the ashram that I was going, all in 4 days. And this was, I had, before the documentary, I had no idea who this person was and what an ashram was. I had no idea what an ashram was. And so I went. not knowing what to expect, no idea um what I was gonna do there. I was like, what do you do in an ashram? What is an ashram? I have no idea. And I got there and I was there for 2 weeks. And for the whole 2 weeks, I sobbed every day. Every day I cried. And it was like, oh, this cleansing. And okay, backstory. I don't think you need a very big backstory because basically I was watching the news and I was aware of the genocide happening and all the lies that are going on in the news outlets. And I just couldn't understand. Again, I was falling into the trap of trying to make sense of the world in my mind or looking out where the world doesn't make sense. And in this plane of existence, there is good and evil, and we need to figure out a way how to have more good and less evil. But right now there's more evil. Yeah. So I went to this ashram to find answers. I went to this ashram because it wasn't pertaining to my life anymore. It was not my body, my sickness, my nothing. This was happening in the world stage. Like everyone is aware of this, and I can't believe this is still happening. How can this be? And I wanted answers, and I went to this ashram hoping to get answers. And I get there, and Ama, every day at 4 p.m., she sits down in the big hall and she preaches about the importance of meditation, of calming the mind. And at this time, I was like, okay, I get it. So I went to the temple, I went to the beach every morning to do yoga, and I sat there and I tried to meditate. And I've never taken a meditation course in my life. And I just thought, I've listened to some videos, and I guess I thought meditation was focus on your in breath, focus on your out breath. And I guess I thought that was it. And your mind will be calm, and then your thoughts won't hurt your body. Your thoughts won't hurt since you're focusing on this neutral thing of your breath or your third eye or whatever. But what I learned in the ashram, because I took a 3-day meditation course, it's the I Am meditation course. It's from Ama, from this saint. And without revealing too much, because they said we cannot share so much about it. But the meditation, what I believed, where I would find my answers in the outside world, in the spiritual realm, was all in my body. The meditation that we learned there was about connecting to the chakras within our body. And these energy centers, this is where our life force is. This is where divinity is. This is where you can connect to the universe through connecting to your body. I had no idea. I had no idea that my body was so powerful, that my body held all the answers once again. reminded that, okay, we can't save the world. I don't have the answers to change what's happening in Gaza and Lebanon, in that part of the world, and I can't stop the US government from sending money. Like, I literally, I can't just stop it. But through looking within, I was connected to this warmth inside of me, this, oh my God, fountain of expansion, of abundance, of goodness inside of me that then gave me the direction of where I needed to go, of what I needed to do. And this has to do with menstruation and the menstrual cycle. Because again, this is happening inside our bodies. And menstruation is when the veil between the physical world, we live in the physical world, but our bodies are part of the energetic world as well. Like, we are at the cusp of both of them. We do live in the physical realm, but we do experience an energetic realm. And we are all healers, and we are all messengers, and we are all connected to the divine that is within us. So our bodies are literally this in-between point. And for most of our cycle, we are more physical. Well, I wouldn't say most. Let's say half. I would say the follicular phase and the ovulatory phase. This is when we are more outward. This is when we want to engage with the world. This is like physical. I'm physically here. And then in our luteal phase, or premenstrual phase, and our menstrual phase, this is when we draw back, energetically draw back. And this is when our spiritual practice, our spiritual self can flourish. This is when we get to dive so deep within ourself. This is when, especially menstruation, the womb, the uterus, literally, okay, I believe in spirit and souls, and we are all unique. We all have a unique soul and spirit. And our womb is the access point for a soul or a spirit to come into the physical realm. So our uterus, when it's open, when we're menstruating, wow, this is when our spiritual self is so present. And this is where we get answers. When I was younger, I was one of the most, what is it called? Indecisive person I knew. I could never decide what I wanted in a restaurant because I was like, how do I know which one I would like? If it was a new restaurant, I was like, I've never tried them. How would I know which one I want? If I went to a restaurant I already knew, I said, I like both of them. How am I supposed to know which one I want today? Right? There was no inner feeling. It's no, I want that one. Yeah, that's the one. Because I was not living inside my body. I was not connecting to the wisdom within myself. And so I want to introduce this perspective from the Red School. I want to introduce the Red School is a school mainly online. They're based in the UK, and I have studied with the founders of the Red School on menstruality and the menstrual cycle and menstrual cycle awareness as a spiritual practice, woman's spiritual practice. And their book Wild Power is incredible. And I translated Wild Power with my co-translator Echo into Chinese. And so if you have any friends that want to read it in Chinese, let me know. But I would like to share with you one of the beginning chapters, a concept that they introduce in one of the beginning chapters of Wild Power. And it's about the different initiations we have, the different initiations or births that we have in this lifetime. And let me share. Here we go. Okay, so they say we go through multiple wombs. We are first in the womb of our mother. So in this womb, we are nurtured. We understand the world through the womb of our mother, right? Whatever our mother eats, whatever our mother experiences impacts us. Whatever is going on, we grow with our mother. We grow in the womb of our mother. Then there is a birth, our birthday, and we are birthed into this world. And I'm sure you've heard of babies being born early. There were maybe smooth pregnancies or difficult pregnancies. All our birth stories are different. And the way we enter this world, you may know, impacts our understanding of the world. Okay, every birth affects us. Every moment of awakening, of something happening, affects us. So as just like there's birth can be seen as a very violent act, right? Something exploding into the world. This is your mark. Your birthday is a day you put on every single document. Your birthday is like your declaration of I'm in this world. This is me. This is who I am, right? And so you're birthed. Wow, that's an entrance. That's an initiation. And then you're birthed into the womb of your family. You are in your family's womb for many years, right? You grow, you're nurtured by your family, you're influenced by your family. Whatever your parents kind of guide you into, that's what you most likely are doing during this time, right? And okay, family, extended family, friends, school, this is all in this period. We're very influenced by the adults and the friends near us. And then, okay, and all of these changes have to do with the body. Please notice that. And then menarche happens. And menarche is our first bleed, our first period. Menarche is in the Red School, in what they say, actually in many Native American traditions, in many Native indigenous peoples, tribes, they have all seen menarche as a super potent, super powerful time. Menarche, many tribe leaders had said that a girl's dreams around menarche held information for the tribe, held information for where the tribe was headed, and what this girl's purpose was in the community, what her mission was in the world. And so Menarche, the first bleed, was an incredible moment for the tribe because she was seen to have special powers. And this is what I'm talking about, of when you're menstruating, you have access to a different realm. And so what is the womb that she enters then? She enters the womb of herself and her cyclical body. So I'm assuming everyone watching this, you are in the womb right now of your cycling body. You are being influenced, held, and nurtured by your different phases, by the energies of your menstrual cycle, how you go out, how you come in. And in these years, and this is the biggest one because this is 35 to 40 years of your life, right? This is 9 months, this is probably 10, 12 years, and this is 35 to 40 years. And then menopause, you enter the womb of the universe. You are part of the whole landscape, right? And that this is an expansive wow. But here, where you most likely are in, you are being held by your body. And every month, you are being transported into a new birth. And that is a birth into yourself. That is when menstruation comes. That is when the portal between you and your spiritual self and your divinity, when the portal is so thin. And our menstrual time is such a sensitive time. Our senses are heightened. Our third chakra and our crown chakra are more open. Many people have dreams, psychic dreams, or more vivid dreams during their menstrual and premenstrual times. And this is because we are divine beings. Our bodies are sacred. And this is coming from someone who grew up not in a religious setting. I'm not preaching about anything. I'm not saying any one person. I'm saying you. You are incredible. Your body is incredible, and your body is taking you on such an adventure. And how do we know where to go in our lives? How do we know what direction to go in? With all the options there are in the world, this university, that master's class, this job, that city, this location, this house, this group of friends, this place for dinner, that place for dinner. How do we make decisions in our day-to-day life? How do we end up knowing where to go? As my little girl self in a restaurant would say, how do I know which way to go or what dish to choose? Because I've never tried them, right? And it's just like, how do you know which direction to go to if you've never tried it? Well, thankfully, we're not like going blind and going crazy and getting lost and hitting our heads against the wall. Many people have pressure from their parents or what they think society thinks is the best idea to go pursue something that is very professional and like a doctor, an engineer, a teacher, or there are so many ways, so many options. How do we choose the option that we are most, that we will be so aligned with and so in love with and so grateful to be part of? And that is if we connect to ourselves, connect to our bodies, listen to the messages of our bodies. That is if we believe that the answers lie within and they are not in the outside world. That is if we believe that we can follow the illogical, the irrational, because the mind will try to understand. The mind will say, I need, like, that doesn't make sense. Why are you going to do that? That doesn't make sense. But the body, you will know. You know what I'm talking about. You know when you know. You know when things are like, that's where I need to go. That's what I've got to do. And what is that? That is your divinity. That's your openness. One thing I didn't mention, oh my God. One thing I didn't mention about this is that at Menarche, okay, here at birth, you declare yourself to the world to say, I'm here. See, and I'm on your birthday. Like your birthday is everywhere, right? You remember it and your birth chart and you look at astrology and whatever. Menarche, however, Menarche, when you enter Menarche, as I said, many tribes believe this is a very powerful time for what you're going to do in this life, where you're going. And many modern societies don't see Menarche as important. And actually, many, I mean, you will have your own story, many see it as terrible, annoying, disgusting, hide it away from me. I don't want to talk about it. Deal with it yourself. It's so unempowering, disempowering. And instead of like this thing happening inside of our bodies, imagine being in a tribe where they're like, you've gotten your first bleed. You are at your most powerful state right now. I mean, and you will be so powerful every time you bleed. What are your dreams? Tap into yourself. Listen to yourself. This is so important. Listen to you. Imagine if you were talked to like that at Menarche. If you were told, wow, you're going through an incredible time, and we are all so lucky that you've got into your Menarche. And we would be so lucky to hear any messages that come from you during Menarche. Wow. Woo! Dang. That would be freaking insane. That would be insane. That would be incredible. Like, okay, as I shared, I got this ring from my mom, and she said, this is the beginning of your womanhood. But I had no idea what that meant. And she did obviously all in good intent. And I think it was amazing what my mom did, like coming from her background where her grandma slapped her older sister and said, don't come sleep over here when you get your period. So my mom has gone a long way, from what she grew up with. But if I was told, Vale, you are so powerful. Your body, if you tap into yourself, if you're able to connect, not able to, if you just quiet your mind and connect to your body, listen for the answers, listen for the messages, listen for your direction, your unique direction. Shit. That's so freaking incredible. Imagine if you were told that when you were 12 years old. Oh my goodness. How would you have treated yourself? How would you have seen yourself differently? How would you be talking to yourself? What would your self-talk be? If you knew that every time you bled, you were closer to God, you were closer to yourself, your divinity, you were closer to sacredness. And this is not about putting spirituality over physicality, the physical. They're the same. They're one. We are one. And this is the beautiful thing about the menstrual cycle. The menstrual cycle, it's like the yin and the yang. The yin and the yang are different, but they're part of one circle. They create one circle, yin yang. They're two parts, but one. Our spiritual side and our body, they're one. They're two, but one, right? And this is like the Hindu goddess and Shiva, Parvati and Shiva. It's the sacred marriage, it's the duality. Shiva is more of the meditation, more in the spiritual realm, and Parvati is more of the household, more of the taking care of daily things. And it's the two that marry each other that have the most incredible union. And this is our bodies. This is our bodies and our direction. Knowing that your body is sacred is your being is sacred. And you have a mission, a dharma, a path in this life that you get to unfold. And you get to unfold by connecting to your body. You get to unfold in the direction you want to, with the relationships you want, in the way that you want. If you respect your menstrual cycle and if you follow the natural flow of going outward, interacting with the world, and then going inward, connecting to yourself, reflecting on what's been going on, what you need, what direction is next. It's all very physical. It's not woohoo, yeah, ha ha, ho, ha ha. It's all like my body. My body's got it all. My body is duality. My body is out and in, right? Out and in. Incredible. So I invite you, maybe now, maybe whenever you have time, I invite you to really sit with yourself and visit yourself when you first got your period. You can ask questions like, what was happening in my life during that time? Do you remember the day you got your period? What was your reaction? Did you tell anyone? If yes, who did you tell and what was their reaction? What did they tell you? If you didn't tell anyone, and I know there are people that didn't tell anyone, if you didn't tell anyone, why didn't you tell? What was the belief inside of you? What was the reason you didn't say anything? And what, if you did tell or you didn't tell, what was the message you were getting from the world about your body and hence about you? And then there is also connecting and remembering to what that younger self of yours, what she was like. What was she like? What was happening in her life? What did she enjoy doing? What did she think about? You know? I mean, I don't know what my dreams were when I was that age because I wasn't told to pay attention to them. But when I've reflected back, when I've done my own meditation and practice of looking back to my monarchical self, I really, what came up was my confusion about how the world was acting compared to how my mother acted about me getting my period. And that, like, I don't really remember, I remember things that happened, but the biggest thoughts that stayed in my head that I am able to recall now was this paradox, was this like, what? These two worlds that didn't make sense to me. And that was on my mind. And then I was like, and when I came out from that meditation, I was like, oh my God. And here I am doing work with the menstrual cycle. So what was important for you then? What what did you desire? Like really, what was happening? And many people, the beginning of something marks something huge. The beginning of an event, the beginning, people say first impressions are really important. The first experience of getting your bleed, those early moments, whatever was happening during that time could have a very big effect on how you experience your menstrual cycle and what kind of symptoms that come up. I remember hearing about this woman who said she would always get very anxious when she got her period. There was this like really restless anxiety feeling whenever she would start bleeding. And what it came out to be was that when she did this practice of her monarchical self, her family was in a car accident, like when she got her first period. And I think some of her family members passed away. And that stayed with her and her cycle. So these first moments, really looking at what are your feelings towards your period right now, and reflecting back to what was happening in my life when I first got my period. And am I able to draw any connections? Or how far away have I gone from that self, who I was then? Yeah, I feel like I'm pretty similar. Just my, yeah, funny, awkward self. Now, I'm definitely a lot more confident in who I am right now than I was at 12. No. So this is all. This is reflecting, inviting you to reflect on your journey of your menarche. And maybe, okay, I'll share it one more time. You can also draw this out in a notebook and write, okay, do you know any stories about when your mother was pregnant with you and what was happening in her life and her feelings about being pregnant? How was her health? So really understanding what was happening there and then thinking back on the general mood and feelings and what your family life was when you were growing up, right? Here in your family's womb, what was happening, and in school, whatever. And then at menarche, what What's been influencing you? This is the teenage years. This is when girls, when boys as well, but this is when we want to find our way. Parents are not the end all be all person. Parents kind of become our coach. Parents can't tell teenagers what to do. Hey, do this, don't do that, because the teenager is going to rebel, because the teenager has their own impulses. The teenager has their own direction. Our soul's journey wants to understand, wants to unfold where we want to go, right? So it's understanding, what was your initial interest? What were you initially interested in, right? Before the world told you you're becoming an adult, you need to be serious, you need to do this, you need to make money, you need to do this kind of job. What was getting your attention when you were younger? And maybe that's a good place to start, right? And if you want to go deeper into this, this is also work that I do with my connected clients, work in understanding their monarchical self, understanding their connection with their cycle and how their cycle can help them go in the direction they want to go in. There are so many women that I talk to that say they are at a point right now where they're like, I know I need to change. I know I want to go somewhere else. I know what I'm doing is not fully aligned with what I want to do. And they don't know what direction to go in because they're in their heads a lot. And in the connection program, I work with women to really get to the root of what's happening inside their bodies and what's real for them, and to trust, because we were not empowered like Native American tribe girls were, or indigenous people who really thought, who told their girls that this is powerful. You are powerful. You have so much here. We were not told that. And so we have a lot of defenses and we have a lot of disconnect. And we've grown up not in a cyclical world, not in a world that understands our bodies, in a world where if we really listen to our bodies, it would tell us to rest and slow down. But that wouldn't be keeping up with the pace of the world. And that would mean we would be falling behind. That would mean we would not perform well at school or at work, and lose our jobs or lose our friends because we're not hanging out and we're spending time for ourselves. We're taking care of ourselves. So this is a world, it hasn't been an easy world for women, for people with wombs to connect with their wombs, to connect with our inner rhythm. And so it can be difficult to do by yourself. It can be difficult to connect the dots and release the years and years and years of accumulated restriction and ignoring our impulses and the voice of the body. So many of us have needed to suppress so much of the wisdom of the body in order to fit into the world, in order to be accepted in the world, in order to, not in order to, just because the world runs like this, and the world runs in a way that suits the male body and not the female body. It's just the fact. And so if you're interested in connecting to yourself, if you've been confused with your symptoms or where you're going in your life and want more clarity the Connected program is perfect for you. And I would love to take you on this journey of connecting with that inner self and your body. The inner self is the body. And so we're going to be doing a lot of body work, and it's super healing. And yeah, so this is for you for that. And if you are interested in the AWARE program, the AWARE is for fertility awareness, is understanding more your biology if you're looking to get off hormonal birth control or not. I was never on hormonal birth control. But I was having sex, and I wanted to know when I was more likely to get pregnant so I could be careful, and then when I could not use a condom at all and have sex with my partner and he would ejaculate inside of me and I'm not pregnant. Because we have a fertile window and an infertile window. So fertility awareness is all about learning about your body. And if you have a relationship, long-term relationship, if you have a sex life, this is all super, super important. So again, as I mentioned yesterday, the Connected program is $600, is one-on-one, is all my attention is on you. We are working together. And the AWARE program is $400. It's 4 months long. It'll be longer. You have the information available for at least a year, so you can go and look at it. It's self-paced, but we will be meeting for 30 minutes 4 times. And then the last 2 times we'll look at your charts together so you can understand. So you can buy them separately. You can buy them only the Connected or only AWARE. Most of my clients end up getting both because, as I said, they're like the yin and the yang, the emotional, the spiritual side, and the physical. Wow, great analogy. They're the yin and the yang. So just our bodies, spiritual, physical, our menstrual cycles, spiritual, physical. It's both. So if you get both of them, until October 15th, it will be $200 off. It won't be $1,000 for 2, it'll be $800. So let me know. You can reach out to me on Instagram. Valentina Thayer is my handle. And you can let me know if you're interested and we can start. I'm so excited. I hope this, yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. And I will be showing up tomorrow again for day 3. And excited to share more of this freaking amazing work. I love this work. This is the best. The best. So nurturing for me. So anyway, big kiss and see you soon.